Here, and we're going to talk about some amazing things that we've been able to do recently in consultations. And we have, of course, up the Sports Energy Light drink. This is amazing. Actually, I'm sipping on mine now with some Brain Mag. There's nothing like it to make you smoothly accelerate through your day. And then after 7 p.m., I switched it from Brain Mag to Brain Mag Calm Mind, because I don't want to be the Energizer Bunny at 9 or 10 or 11 or 12 o'clock at night. I need to start kind of winding the body down, but also still protecting the brain from oxidative stress, the heart, etc., because, again, living's a stressful thing. Your mitochondria are generating free radicals, and especially as mitochondria get old, they generate lots of sparks, free radicals, so you need to protect yourself. I had the question the other day, and this is one I think you can answer, Ryan. People say, why do I need to take nutraceuticals? Why don't I just take a really good organic diet? And I was looking at one of these luxury magazines just recently, and it said, they don't believe in any vitamins. It's just eat a really good organic diet and have, the best organic food you can have. That's wonderful. But there's three major defects with that thought. The first one is that even organic food is demineralized still.
Right.
Number two, everything has got poison with biotoxins, even if it's grown in organic soil, including lead in it, and heavy metals and all kinds of volatile chemicals that are in the troposphere, the rain, etc. People say, no, Dr. Deagle, that's not true. I said, look, you're going to find GPH jet fuel in Lake Titicaca at 14,000 feet in the Alta Plateau of South America. So don't tell me that, okay? And I'll quote them to death, okay? And the third thing about the problem is that there's gene defects, where the population has various amounts of gene defects, where they're never, even if they get the best organic food, going to be able to get the natural form of a vitamin that's bioconverted to jump a gene that they have a defect in to convert to its activated form. And on top of that, the toxins in the environment will block that too. So 1/4 of the population average, and it's up to 50% of Hispanics, have a gene defect of SNP converting folic acid, which is really important for methylation pathways, for myelination of your brain, for enzyme activity creating digestive enzymes, and for hundreds of other pathways, including blood. And then the entire population of the world is exposed to biotoxins, dioxins, and dibenzylfurans that actually block 5-methylfolate reductase. That's one of hundreds of enzymes that are key. So when people say, I want an organic diet, I say, great, eat as organic as you can. Drink this clean filtered water with pure water system water. Whether you're going to stay healthy is dependent on what I call your toxin detox ratio. If there's 2 toxins coming in and 2.5 are going out, you're getting healthier because you're getting the toxins out of your body. But if there's 3 toxins going in and 1 toxin going out, because you're quote on an organic diet, you're not taking detox nutraceuticals, you're going to get sicker because you're going to build up 2 toxins every day. For that 1 you get out, there's 3 coming in. So what do you think, Ryan? How would you explain that? Does that kind of make sense to people when they say, I just want an organic diet? I say, well, number one, you're a fool, because eating an organic diet on this planet, in this day and age, with this level of toxins and scalar radiation and radiotoxins, even the amount of tritium being released from all nuclear reactors in sites in America, when they say, our reactor hasn't broken down, I said, what's your tritium count at 2, 5, 10, 20, and 100 miles from your reactor? What's the level of tritium in the water? Well, I don't know. I said, well, do you ever measure it? Do you measure your thorium level that's coming out of these reactors? Guess what? 99% of the reactors in America are spilling tritium and thorium to the surrounding population, and you could actually do a small for dates baby and an increase in dementia and increased cardiac arrhythmias, including atrial fibrillation, as a direct linear relationship from how far they are from the nuclear reactor. That's published fact. Okay, it's not made up by Deagle. Okay, so I get really sick and tired with people thinking I just want an organic diet, or I'm going to buy the what I call the big box pharmacy or the Amazon vitamins, and these are going to be a miracle. You're a fool, because number one, even if they were the perfect vitamin, you don't know how to use it. It's like buying a really good set of tools and you've never gone to engineering class or automobile class and figure, well, I got great tools, but I don't even know what a car looks like inside. Well, if you don't know how to look like inside, you better not get your tools in there, or you're going to hurt yourself, or you're going to ruin your engine. So That's my answer to people that say, I want an organic diet, Doc. I say, well, first off, you're a fool. Eat an organic diet. I try to make sure that I don't eat trans fatty acids, oxidized fats, GMO foods, food allergens, stuff that I know is going to be laced with radiotoxins, you know. As they say, they have a food fish counter in South Korea, and they have a little radiation detector at the bottom of the fish counter, because the Koreans are very obsessive compulsive, right? And as they say, if the fish goes click, click with the radiation detector, back away from the fish counter. But beyond that, you need NutriMeds. So a little humor here. So what do you think of that, Ryan?
Well, I think that you're right, that people are sort of, there's a lot of people that say, oh, I'll just get it all from my diet. And, you know, you certainly go for it. But if things aren't working out, you know, the way you want to for your health and overall wellness, then there may be obviously something deeper that you're not understanding. And I think Dr. Bill's hitting on that point, which is, you know, it's hard to basically restore, you know, what we need in our bodies just through diet alone based on the amount and abundance of toxicity that we are faced with. It's unparalleled. And even without just thinking toxins, you can just apply it to stress levels, you know, which is a very good one. It'll burn right through your things like B vitamins, for example. They'll just be, you know, there's very difficult to keep up with without doing supplementation because the stress that people are typically under overwhelms them. You can change the perception to stress. You can change the way your environment, you know, you interact with your environment as well. But using things like Vitamineral Max Foundation is really a critical thing, because this argument about which things to take, Vitamineral Max is designed basically to be foundational principles from the basic vitamins and minerals that we need each and every day on a regular basis to make sure that the enzymatic functions in our bodies continually operate like they should. If they don't, then obviously over time things are going to go wrong, and we won't be able to protect ourselves and operate like we should, like our bodies are designed to operate. So
right.
I like people using that as a foundational thing. I've said it before, like a house, and you're going to build a house, you want to pour the right foundation. You don't want to just build it on dirt.
In fact, if you don't detox, if you're going to detox, you have to put the good minerals and the good vitamins in there in an activated state before you start detoxing. And I had one gentleman who I consulted with over in Paris, and I hope he's listening. And I gave him a protocol some months ago, and he said, no, I don't think I'll do the protocol. I'm going to go off and I'm going to try to do detox myself, because I discovered in this test, because I did an analysis, and I said, do not do that. The detox process itself is dangerous. You know, when you start mobilizing toxins that are sequestered away in body compartments like heavy metals, and you don't take antioxidants like Nutrichala, Regenerex, and cell detox glutathione, and selenium cruciferate, if you don't take things to protect you like fatty acids like Omega Supreme Krill, Omega Supreme, Nutriphosphonerogen, because you're going to damage cell membranes and enzymes, you're going to suffer. And people don't know that. They think, well, I can just go off and second guess the ego. I think I know what to do. No, you don't. You don't have a clue. In fact, what you're going to do is you're going to hurt yourself thinking you're going to just go off and just going to do this, and I'm going to figure it out. No. Maybe we need to pare down your protocol so it's within your budget, but for God's sake, don't do that on your own. Don't think that, hey, I know what to do. No, you don't. You don't. And don't think that your doctor, whether it's in Paris or London or anywhere, knows how to do this. I can guarantee you that if your doctor talked to Dr. Deagle, they don't. Okay? And I can give you concrete physical, genetic, organic acids, every kind of imaging test you can imagine to prove to you that's the truth. And this goes well beyond even things like QRMA or bioplasm, NLS, the latest version, the ATLRIS. And I can even log on to your computer with TeamViewer 10 and actually take over your computer, and you can be in Moscow or Edmonton, Alberta, and I can tell you exactly what's wrong using those tests. And then they go to do regular blood tests, functional medicine tests, organic acids, and gene tests, and pare down to the precise genetic pathophysiological problem long before you have symptoms and before you have pathology, what's wrong. So if you think you can second guess that, good try. Don't do it. You'll hurt yourself. And when we come back, we're going to ask Ryan some good questions about some protocols I just had to update here and answers to people's questions. And welcome back, and we have a caller, Eric in New York. He had a quick question about blood testing. And I can read off the question he has here so far. I want to know about RBC, magnesium, calcium, and if those minerals are good markers to request for my mom's doctor, and if it will be covered under her Medicare. First off, your doctor will have no idea how to interpret these tests, will never have any training or understanding of it, And you need to see a functional medicine doctor. You can go through the American Academy of Environmental Medicine, the American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine, and the American Academy of Advancement Medicine, which I belong to all three academies. They'll have a rudimentary level. I'm their professor. I teach a lot of them along with other doctors in the world that are top doctors that have been doing this for decades. The best test to do is just simply order it yourself. And you can actually go to a LabCorp request. It's called directlabs.com and order a packed red cell test with 22 minerals for your RBC levels of all your minerals. Barring that, a QRMA machine is very accurate, measuring even more sensitive than that because it measures body tissue levels, not just packed red cell, because you can have heavy metals sequestered away in your bone marrow and it won't show up in a packed RBC test because the body says this is so darn dangerous. It's like having nuclear waste stuck at the a reactor site where it's in sequestered containers. It doesn't let it out, so you're not going to see it in your RBCs unless you dump it with pulse magnetic or light therapy or IV chelation or oral chelation. So that's what you do, and don't waste your time trying to. If your doctor will call me, I'll train them, but I'm never going to call anybody's doctor to try to train them unless they're willing to call me, and I will do it at my dime, at no cost, to train any doctor or any health professional or professional trainer anywhere in the world, free, if they will contact me. So Ryan, let's get into some of the nutraceuticals. Enough talk about that. Hypertension. This is something we keep on revisiting. Hypertension basically is the body has said that I'm not getting enough perfusion, so the heart's pushing harder and harder to drive the blood pressure up, systolic and diastolic pressure. Systolic is the top pressure in the pulse wave, and the diastolic's near the bottom. It's not the absolute bottom, but it's near the bottom. Can you close the door? Super Knox. Let's talk about that and why that's going to stimulate nitric oxide, magnesium glycinate malate. We use, of course, Cardivite. Magnesium in the brain mag is also going to contain the magnesium glycinate malate and brain mag, which calms the central nervous system down. Because a lot of time when hypertension is occurring, you have overactivity of the sympathetic nervous system, so the brain mag is going to help on that extent too. Gamma E+, and of course Omega Supreme and Omega Supreme Krill, Vascular, which is our carnitine, and CoQ10. As we mentioned before, if you're going to detox with Kelar Max to pull out the heavy metals, you have to have Vitamin Mineral Max and Minerals Plus in first. If you don't, you're going to pull out good things out of your bloodstream too, and you're going to actually cause electrolyte and mineral imbalances by using oral chelating agents, which are the safest. And I don't like IV chelation. It could put you have to give a Myers cocktail to replace it, and you can get real extremis if you start yanking out minerals and don't know you're not just removing potassium, magnesium, you're removing trace elements too that are necessary for metabolism. So, Ryan, let's talk about that. Supernox, magnesium glycinate, malate, gamma E+, etc.
Form of it, and so you can kind of bathe the tissues hour by hour using this version, and also avoiding kind of this high rapid spike of nitric oxide, which may not be great for a lot of people if they don't convert, I should say, the arginine effectively to nitric oxide. They may develop a bit more free radical damage from things like peroxynitrite. And so peroxynitrite is something that's a very, very nasty free radical. You don't want it to go up in your body. You want to keep it as regulated as possible. And so the Supernox is a great way of dealing with that. But on the other side of it is we naturally do produce peroxynitrite, and it's something we want to keep in check with great antioxidants. Which ones do the best job? The Gamma E Plus is actually one of the best formulations because, in particular, when it comes to vitamin E, the tocotrienol known as gamma tocopherol versus, say, alpha tocopherol, which a lot of people are just getting one form when they take vitamin E supplements. They're usually just getting one form, or if they're getting a mixed blend, they don't really know how much they're getting. But gamma is one of the highest that we want. It's more found in the plant that we eat, is the gamma. And gamma has a particular effect directly on neutralizing peroxynitrite. So if you are a person that takes vitamin E supplements, probably some of the stuff we're talking about here, you never even resonated with you. It's like, isn't it all the same? Who really cares? And the bottom line is, no, not all the same. Make sure you have a high gamma formulation, and one that has the balance of the tocopherols and tocotrienols at the same time.
Yeah, that's really important because you're repairing the ion channels. What you're doing with gamma tocopherol and the tocotrienols, you're keeping the ion channels that literally allow calcium ion to come in, act as a spark to set off metabolic processes like vasoconstriction and activate the mitochondria. Then the cells have to kick it back out because it's so dangerous. So there's 10,000 magnesium ions for every calcium inside the cell. If your ion channels are damaged, and by the way, they're damaged by calcium channel blockers, and that's not good. Which means if you take calcium channel blockers, you're damaging your ion channels. Not good, is it? It's like when people take these drugs. For example, they take a beta blocker. They don't realize you're damaging the mechanisms that maintain levels of oxidative metabolism in your mitochondria, in your blood vessel walls, and in your heart. That's supposed to be the point. Well, it has a temporary positive effect because it reduces what's called the sympathetic-driven or oxidative metabolism of the nervous system and the chronotropic rate of your heart. But it actually damages the metabolic activity of the heart muscle and the mitochondria in your blood vessels. Not good. For example, I just went over this lady's drugs. It was a number of problems. First off, don't take an ACE inhibitor, take an ACE receptor blocker. Like losartan or something like that. Or don't take propranolol or metoprolol. If you have to take a beta blocker for heart failure, take the minimum dosage and take Corig. Don't take Prandin, and a lot of these new whiz-bang diabetic drugs. If you have to take one, take metformin and try to get off of it and take nutraceuticals instead as quickly as you can with diabetoline and leptin metabolic, minerals plus, chromium cruciferate, etc., lipoflush. And people taking synthetic thyroid, flush it. Don't take it at all. It's a waste of time. Switch to mitothyroid, nutriodine, selenium cruciferate, and vitamineral max. To me, it's very scary what I see. I get all these panic calls last week from people trying to take care of their moms before Mother's Day. And the medicine is what I call still stupid medicine. I mean, it really is amazing. Atherosclerosis. Take, of course, our cardiovascular, what we mentioned above, but also just take simple things like Neurogen, Omega Supreme. Take Omega cod liver liquid, which will lower your cholesterol better than an HMG-CoA reductase inhibitor. Omega cod liver liquid, that's how easy it is. No side effects, doesn't fry your brain or dissolve your damage your heart muscle. Amazing.
Hey everybody, Dr. Bill will be right back with us here in just a second. This is Ryan talking with Dr. Bill on the NutriMed line of products, the premier line of nutraceuticals that Dr. Bill endorses. And so always a pleasure to be with Dr. Bill and talk about these different various issues. And I know one of the new ones that Dr. Bill is very excited about that we wanted to introduce and talk about was the Sports Energy Light drink mix. And so this is a pretty cool one because when it comes statistically to how many Americans, anyway, consume products that contain caffeine, it's as I'm sure everybody's going, well, that's probably a lot. Well, if you put some dollars to it, you're talking in the United States in the last year, you're talking over $8 billion is being spent on coffee. You've got over $8 billion being spent on energy drinks. And so when you... Okay.
Yeah, I am back, by the way, Ryan.
Yeah, Dr. Bill, there you are.
Hey, yeah, sorry, my signal dropped there for a minute, and I guess we're back, so we're operational
Sports Energy Light, Dr. Bill. We're talking Sports Energy Light.
Oh, yeah, I have a glass of it right here with my brain mag. It's amazing stuff. I
was running down the stats, basically, on how much people, purchase products like drinks and so forth, or shots or coffee. And typically the purpose behind that, is the caffeine content. What's neat about Sports Energy Light, there's three concepts here. This is really, it's an energy drink, I'll explain, but it's also electrolytes, and it's for antioxidants in your body, which most of the things in the marketplace certainly are not doing these three things all together. It's a very small amount of caffeine that's being used in this. So each sachet, these are nitrogen-sealed sachets. You just rip them open, add them to a bottle of water, or you can spoon stir it right into a glass of water. It's really easy mixing, berry flavored tasting, no sugar, 20 calories. It's phenomenal. But it's got 95 milligrams of caffeine, far less than you find in most of the drinks that are in the marketplace. But it's built in a very unique way. It uses what's known as a caffeine co-crystal bound with methylated resveratrol. Technical, but what it's doing is it's changing the way that the caffeine itself performs. Instead of a quick spike in 15 minutes and a very rapid drop-off that almost anybody that uses caffeine experiences every hour and a half or so. This instead takes about 30 minutes to peak in the body, and then it lasts in human clinical studies over 6 hours for increased improvement in cognition and performance, energy levels. That's what caffeine can't be shown to do that. And so this is what people really want from their drinks, but they can't get it because it's not dealing with the bioavailability of the material in the body. So Sports Energy Light also is delivering a very large amount of electrolytes. So a lot of people out there, you're working out, you're exercising, or you're looking for ways to support the way that your cells have the electrolytes that they need. And people that drink sports drinks, they're vastly unaware that they're completely imbalanced in electrolytes. Most of them are really just sodium and a little bit of potassium. They do not use calciums and magnesiums to support completely the electrolyte balance. So that's an added benefit. And then also the antioxidants, which we've talked about many times in this show. One, Power C+. Why is that one so good? It's vitamin C, but it's in a pH-neutral format, so you can do a high absorption rate of this material and get the benefits of vitamin C. Well, every serving that you use of Sports Energy Light is 500 milligrams of vitamin C. This is a great one before you want to get on an airplane. This is a great one when you are an athlete or you're out running around, traveling and so forth. You want to make sure you have adequate amounts of vitamin C for the immune benefit, the antioxidant protection that it provides. It also has things like S-acetylglutathione in here, significant amounts of this particular material that's a glutathione that's been shown to not break down in the gut lining and help you to increase the levels in your red blood cells, along with a whole host of other antioxidants in there as well, like organic green tea and red coffee bean fruit and coffee bean extract. It's really a remarkable formula.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing, isn't it? I love it because I can tell you it gives you the kind of energy that's, it's a smooth energy, too. It's not like the 5-hour energy drinks or too much coffee or tea. It's pretty remarkable in terms of what it's going to do to your body.
Right.
Some of the other kind of interesting consults recently had one lady who had significant problems with lymphedema. And here we go. And what she had there was a problem with inflammation of her blood vessel walls and arteries and so on. And what I recommend there we simply do is just 1 second here. There we go. I'm trying to pull up this information. My computer's giving me little fits here for some reason or other.
Okay.
There we go. Here we go. Yeah, basically she had problems with lymphedema, and what we want to start off with first off is Vein-Away for lymphedema. And for blood vessels in the back of the eye, for the kidney, and for venous problems where it's varicose veins, spider nevi. Let's talk about Vein-Away. We also use for veins, I use the malignant block and the ellagic acid to repair the vessel wall, Power C, and the full vitamin K2 to prevent calcification of arteries. So if you get a high calcium score of your arteries due to a high-speed CT scan showing it, which is one of the best ways to actually scan your body and your heart vessels, even better, I think, than a angiogram, is to do a high-speed CT scan. So even if you're asymptomatic, if you've got high calcium scores, you're going to have unstable plaque in different parts of your arteries and your blood vessels supplying your heart or your carotid arteries in your neck, besides a B-scan ultrasound. So let's talk about Vein-Away for a minute for lymphedema and malignant block, Power C, and full vitamin K2 for vascular disease and neurogen. It turns out docosahexaenoic acid reduces atrial fibrillation post-op surgery, reduces vascular disease and plaque formation, And if you combine the Neurogen with Omega Supreme and Omega Supreme Krill, it's amazing at stopping vascular problems.
It comes from the material out of the sweet orange, organic sweet oranges. The white part that a lot of times on oranges, you're like, ew, gross, what is that? Well, out of there, they can extract a certain component that's been trade labeled as diosmine. So this material is very unique in the way that it can help protect our vascular system. So there are so many people that, have issues where, if you want to think about it, warning lights on a dashboard, varicose veins or spider veins or hemorrhoids, or they've got a history of vascular disease in their families, kidney issues, things like that. These are all warning signs that there's something going on wrong in there, and you probably have a higher risk for issues that could lead to like cardiovascular function or something like that, dysfunction. And so by using this material in Vein-Away, it basically works as an antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, but it's very particular to the vascular system. It's been studied for over 50 years, and it's a really remarkable substance. And so people will often use it, and if they have heavy legs, issues with the restlessness of legs and so forth, this is a very, very strong formulation that tends to work in a very short amount of time for people feeling differences. But they've also done the clinical studies with this material showing that they're able to truly improve the way that the vascular system is performing after you consume it on a regular basis. So Vein-Away is by far not just about the external view of veins on your legs or something like that. It's about the entire vascular system and protecting it and improving its function.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, isn't it?
That's a great
The other thing, of course, we had this lady who suffered from chronic obesity, and of course she was eating a low-calorie diet, but just not getting anywhere. The first thing is the diet I recommend as a base is not the they call it this, going back to the caveman style diet. What do they call that?
Paleo.
Yeah, paleo never existed, by the way. If you research it, caveman never ate.
You mean people that lived in the Paleolithic era did not label their diet?
Nobody had the paleo. Paleo, what they eat is fruits and nuts and tubers, which are things like sweet potatoes, and they ate whatever they could, which didn't include a lot of fruit. They occasionally got meat when they were able to kill an animal, and it was very infrequent. The best diet I've found so far is called the George Cruz low-carbo diet, and he shows you how you can even make bread with almond flour and coconut flour. So you can, if you want to make a pizza, you can do that, but you have to stay away. The first thing you have to avoid if you're wanting to lose weight is all grains. Don't ever touch grains again, whether it's gluten-free or not. Second is you replace your meals with glycemics. Use carbo blocker and lactose blocker. By the way, lactose is bad stuff too. If you are eating any milk products and don't block the lactose, it drives your blood insulin into orbit. So carbo blocker and lactose blocker, glycemics, leptin metabolic to lower and can increase insulin support. And your questions are welcome. 800-259-5791. Tell the board op exactly what your question is, though. It has to be very specific, otherwise we really can't answer it. So I had a question here. Let's see. Oh, I see the question. They said, somebody said they have the book there to Sherry Rogers, How to Cure Diabetes book. One, to the different calcium, selenium, etc. tests would be the RBC test to be worthwhile. Well, first off, some of the things that Dr. Rogers says are correct, and other things are basically incorrect. The biggest problem you have to deal with, and we say this over and over in the program, is insulin receptor sensitivity is reduced. That's where leptin metabolic and lipoflush and dibetaline come in. And if you take those, you're going to change that resistance and that sensitivity. When you're looking at just your mineral concentrations, that's a secondary factor. It's really easy to correct that by simply taking Minerals Plus, chromium cruciferate, and restoring your mineral concentrations. Then you have to change the receptor balance by taking leptin metabolic and lipoflush and dibetaline and biotin plus. Those will reverse the insulin resistance. So that's pretty straightforward. Our protocol, I think, is far superior to Dr. Rogers' protocol in terms of helping to correct that. And then the next area I'd like to cover is the area of diverticulosis. It's a very, very common condition that we hear. Is diverticulosis. And the first thing I recommend is Allicin Med to clear the lower bowel of anaerobic bacteria that are causing the problem, and berberstatin, 2 capsules twice a day. Collagen Max to restore normal strength of the bowel wall, which is weakened where the bowel wall outpoaches and forms the little pouch that allows the fecal lith to develop. It's a insoluble fiber, if you want to call it pseudostone, that forms. Then you want to recolonize the gut with living probiotic. The Brazil 6 strain is ours from the Pasteur Institute in Paris. And living probiotic, ultra, the most powerful probiotic on the planet every third day. And then to heal the blood vessels and so on in the bowel wall, we use two things. We use ellagic acid, and we'll use GastroHeal, which is zinc carnosine. The advanced protocol, we're going to add also a malignant block, which is also sulforaphane glycosinolate, colon cleanse to cleanse the lower bowel, very important. Digest and cell defense, the anti-inflammatory to heal the wall, as well as Nutrifos and Neurogen. And the use of digestive enzymes, because a lot of time the reason why you have a diverticular problem is you actually have maldigestion. And if you're eating things like milk products and milk lactose and not breaking it down with the only neutral pH lactase in the world, you're going to end up with dysbiosis, and that dysbiosis can cause diverticulosis. So 98% of the population does not have the lactase enzymes of a fetus or young baby, and therefore if they have milk products, they're going to get diverticular disease, especially if they don't have enough fiber. But the combination of inflammation from dysbiotic bacteria in the gut and low fiber intake will cause that. So that's the solution. And lactase blocker is very important, along with the probiotics and the things to strengthen the bowel wall, like Collagen Max, and even Mountain Red Velvet that'll strengthen the bowel wall, because it's the weakened bowel wall that causes the problems. We had an interesting consult from a lady that requested regarding her disabled brother who had prostate problems. Firstly, for prostate hypertrophy, prostate flow, 2 soft gels twice a day until it starts to settle, then you can drop back to 1 twice a day. Vision Max, which is also the same product we use for prostate, 1 capsule twice a day. Bladder Up, which is a soft gel from pumpkin seed oil extract, 1 soft gel in the morning and bedtime, and Swedish flower pollen, 1 to 2 tablets, a natural alpha-1 blocker, 1 to 4 times, from 4 times a day, that is. You want to chew those tablets. And swallow those tablets. And then for urinary tract infection, unfortunately, this young man developed a very serious UTI infection. And after they had the doctor's treatment, which was not good. And Allison Med would be the first thing I'd recommend, a capsule 3 times a day. Nutriodine, 10 drops in water 3 times a day. Silver 100, 1 spray per 10 pounds body weight, or 3 drops per 10 pounds body weight 3 times a day. NutriDefense, a capsule 3 times a day to build up the immune system and to protect from oxidative stress. And NutriImmune, immunoglobulins to re-strengthen and coat the gut wall, the urinary tract, the gastrointestinal tract. The immunoglobulin G and E, and E, G, and A, that is, G and A, will protect the lining of the bladder wall. So that's going to help reduce that significantly. We have an interesting consultation for people that have a chronic daily headache we talked about earlier. Tinnitus. This is a really common one. Firstly, I recommend Cognition Plus. You're going to reduce oxidative stress in the brain with brain power, Neurogen, cell detox, glutathione, and cell defense. That's the core protocol. We can add several other things to that, but that's the core. And for knee arthritis, first, I recommend Tendon Mender, Joint Performance, 1 of each twice a day, Collagen Max, Mountain Red Velvet, open a capsule under the tongue 4 times a day. And, of course, use locally on the area Micropulse and Lumen Photon to speed the healing process and turn off pain. Most portable is the Micropulse device, Lumen Photon, extremely effective. These technologies, you can get away from a problem. And if you have a knee arthritis, you want to scope the knee, get it cleaned out, have the deburred, have any fragments in there that are calcifying removed from the knee joint so you don't end up tearing up the cartilage. And if you need a Synvisc injection, it'll buy you time while you rebuild your own natural mechanisms to generate hyaluronic acid polymer for the joint space. So there's no need for you to continue to suffer. I had an interesting consult here. Yes. A couple I talked to, a lady who actually had 9 children, believe it or not. She mentioned how she's having trouble with with acne, comedo acne. And I recommend a neutral pH soap like Dove Unscented or MG12 soap would be my choice. And curcumin cream. You can use a comedo extractor, which you can get from Amazon. They're very inexpensive, about $12. To last you forever. You can sterilize them with Silver 100 or Nutridyne. I usually recommend a curcumin cream applied 4 times a day after you wash. It will get rid of the comedo acne, and of course the fatty acid concentration is due to the diet. You want to cut out, we call inflammatory fats like peanut oil, polyunsaturated vegetable fats, etc. And Neovasc will also change the fat concentration. So if someone has bad comedo acne, they've got abnormal production of fatty acids in their bloodstream, and those fatty acids are being concentrated by the sebaceous glands in their skin. So Neovasc, a tablet twice a day, and then of course you're going to take that to stop the flushing. Take Power C Plus 3 capsules about a half hour before you take your Neovasc. Low back pain, very common. Start off with a simple protocol of Inflamex, Tendon Mender, and Joint Performance. The Inflamex 3 to 5 capsules twice to 3 times a day. Tendon Mender and Joint Performance 1 each twice a day. And then the Mountain Red Velvet, very important, 1 capsule open up 3 to 4 times a day under the tongue. Memory and attention deficit disorder, we're going to calm the brain down. Brain Mag, very important for calming the brain down for hyperactivity. Cognition Plus, 2 capsules twice a day. Brain Power, 1 capsule twice a day. And Bio LVR, replacing the B12 and folic acid. That'll be helped a lot by Samethyl, Superfolate, and Power Methyl B12 as well. So if you're trying to correct the ADD and memory, the memory we could use a combination of ultrathymine B1, CDP choline, and uridine monophosphate. That'll increase the acetylcholine levels in the hippocampus area of the brain for improved memory. So that gives you some ideas on how you can approach that. All of these protocols, of course, are either updated or going to be updated. I had recent requests about someone with chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD. Cell detox glutathione, very important to stop the inflammatory changes in the lungs. Allergon and Allerblock, a capsule each 3 times a day at least. Regenerex, a capsule twice a day. Nutritrala, a tablet twice a day. Alicimed, at least 1 capsule twice a day. And Silver 100 spray, 3 sprays sets, hold for a count of 10 seconds and repeat. About 1 spray per 10 pounds body weight. And to heal the lung tissue, Nutrifos, Mountain Red Velvet, Collagen Max, and inhalation therapy with an Omron inhalation device or Sinupulse Elite, and I would use with that Nutriodine, usually 10 drops with normal saline. The Nutriodine will do the trick. Back in a moment with hour number 3, and we are going to be talking to Dr. Bob Dennis, and then at the 1:15 with Daniel Fazina, a remarkable story of his books about divine interventions and miracles. We'll be back in just a moment. And if you have questions for our board op, do call in 800-259-5791 and tell them specifically what your question is, and we'll try to give you